Hi guys, my name's Emma and let's talk spooky stuff. Okay, I've got a few things to address with you guys. Firstly, I'm in a different background. This is my new apartment. Dean and I bought an apartment and oh my god, it's amazing. We just moved in, so this isn't gonna be the background you see all the time. Maybe I will, I don't know. It's kind of nice because it's so far away that it's more like a softer focus, but I don't really like how harsh this light is. So this will change and I will have like a little setup, hopefully. Maybe December or January because I am going away in December. Anyway, the other thing I definitely have to address is this. I broke my finger when we were moving. I promise this was not a drunk injury. This was literally me moving and just being tired and stupid. So that's that. So you'll definitely see this little buddy for the next couple of weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, I reckon. I am not impressed. I haven't done a favorites in a while just because I did 31 Days of Horror, and then after that I didn't really feel like I had enough other topics to talk about other than my horror wrap up. Quickly, I want to get through a couple of things and then we'll go straight into the movies. But mostly in this favorites video, I want to talk to you guys about TV shows. But let's start with some things. So firstly, oh my god, guys, do you see this? Do you know what this is? I bought this with my own money. This is not sponsored. This is from Monster Squad, if you guys have ever seen it. I just watched it recently with my patrons and I thought it was the fucking coolest shirt ever. I saw it, like obviously the kid wears it, and I was like, I bet you I can find that on eBay, and I did, and I bought it, and I love it. It is so geeky, but I'm just obsessed. Anyway, so if you're wondering where I got my shirt, I got it from eBay. Another favorite thing, I guess it's a book, is I read Girls. It is meant to be kind of loosely based on the Manson family ranch. And it is about a girl who kind of gets sucked in to going to the ranch. And it's more about how someone gets lured in. I've got to be really careful not to play with the Velcro on this because it could be really annoying to you guys. It's more about how she gets lured in and the whole how someone can be lured into a cult. She never really gets fully immersed, but it's a really good story. It's told really well. It's kind of told in 2 different parts where it's like the future and the past. I thought it was an amazing read. I've been reading a lot lately because I'm in a book club with some people I work with, but that was by far one of the best books I've read this year, which I mean isn't saying much. I haven't read much books this year, but it was a really enjoyable read and I definitely recommend it to you guys. Obviously it's a work of fiction, but it is kind of loosely based on the events around the Manson family ranch and like the personas, and I thought it was really interesting, really creepy, really sad, but really good. And with that said, let's get into my short list of what I watched in November. I actually do want to include that after I finished my 31 Days of Horror, I watched Creep 2, which I have a review for. On the first, I watched Despicable Me 3. I'm sorry guys, but Dean is obsessed with Despicable Me. It was cute. I thought it was really fun and it's cute. If you like those kind of movies, it's like a fun watch. It definitely escaped me from the reality which was 31 Days of Horror real quick, snapped out of it. And then I watched The Vanishing, which I did a review on, which was kind of like the remake versus the original. I would recommend that, definitely. I then watched Manhunt, which is a film from Norway. I wouldn't recommend this. It's kind of weird because it's one of those capture and kill type situations. 4 friends go on like a road trip on the outback, whatever you call the outback in Norway, and they're tracked down by locals. It's got that capture and kill hillbilly kind of situation. I didn't think it was anything fresh, anything new, and nothing kind of was realized through the plot, so I probably wouldn't recommend it to you guys. I then watched The Bar, which I did a review on. That is an amazing Spanish film. Would recommend, definitely check it out. If you didn't see my review, you can check that out or just watch it. It's on Netflix. And then I watched Monster Squad, which is why I got this. I watched it on the 11th. I then watched Jigsaw, which I did a review on, going to the outdoor cinema to the drive-in, and it wasn't very good. If you like Saw, I gotta stop, this is so distracting. If you do like the Saw series, it might be worth it for you, but I didn't really love it by any means. I then watched Bedeviled. I hate that name. I fucking hate that name. You would have seen the review for that. Do not watch it. Do not even once. It goes on my shit list for the year, I think. I should probably do a shit list. Would you guys want to see a shit list? You guys really love when I talk about movies I hate. Let me know. I then watched Alina, which is a Swedish horror film. It had a really good setup because it was like, she had gone to a new school and she was kind of the outcast, and her best friend was kind of harassing her and you weren't sure what their relationship was. And then she meets like this cool chick at school, and then all these other cool chicks don't like that they're hanging out. And I was really into that plot line. I haven't seen like a girl, like teenage school horror movie in a while that I really enjoyed. So I was super into it. And then it got kind of predictable in the middle, and I don't really feel like, it was very predictable, and I don't really feel like it gave anything new to that storyline. But if you like Swedish film and you're just interested in anything I just said about the film, it might be worth a watch. I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. So it's basically like right in the middle. I wouldn't recommend it to a lot of people, but I know actually a lot of you guys might enjoy it. So maybe check that one out. I then watched Baby Call, which is also known as Monitor, which I will be doing a review on. And then I watched The Killing of a Sacred Deer, which was, it's everything we love here on Spooky Astronauts. It's disturbing, it's eerie, it's out of nowhere, and it's chilling as fuck. I would really recommend it to you guys. That's all I watched for the month. I'm sorry guys, it wasn't a long one. I was just moving, we had just finished 31 Days of Horror, I had a lot going on at work, so I really didn't watch much movies, but because I watch a lot of TV shows, so let's get into them. So Dean and I tried to watch the Mist TV show. I wasn't really sold on the premise of it being a TV show because it just seems like the Walking Dead type situation where it's just the same thing, you know, something's coming after them until the end of the series. It doesn't really make much sense to me to prolong it and to put just different subplots in there. I like something that kind of changes, like Stranger Things, like the things we don't really know what's happening, but with the Mist, or you know, the Walking Dead where there's zombies walking around, or the Mist where there's obviously mist, you may learn a little bit more about the Mist, but I just feel like there's just so many plots and it's more about the character development. I'd rather see stronger characters put in a different situation than that, if that makes any sense. So it did turn out exactly how I thought. It was quite gripping the first couple episodes, and then I got over it once you kind of find out who did what, and I don't know, it couldn't suck me in any further than that. It did have Frances Conroy in it, who I love, obviously, American Horror Story, but even greater than that, she's from 6 Feet Under, which is my favorite TV show of all time. So I highly recommend her, but not the TV show. One I can strongly 100% recommend to all of you guys is I watch Big Little Lies. This is not a horror TV show, this is a drama. This is actually made by Reese Witherspoon's production company, but she picked up one of her best friends, Nicole Kidman, to go get the rights for the TV show because the TV show was a book. And it is about abuse, mental, physical, of all kinds, situated in a small town in America. With kind of trophy wife type situation, just mothers living in this community and how they're kind of all out to get each other, but they're all kind of being abused in different ways and they don't really understand how much they actually have in common. It's really complex. Nicole Kidman is amazing in this, fucking amazing. I know I said that she was really good in Killing of a Sacred Deer, but this is probably the best role I've ever seen her in. She was just jaw-dropping. It will make you cry. I stayed up all night watching this. I think I started at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and I stayed up until like 2 or 3 just to finish it, and I watched it all in a row. It is amazing. I think I bought it for something like $20 on iTunes and it was so worth it. I would 100% recommend it to everybody. Obviously, another TV show that I watched this month was Stranger Things. I really wanted to watch it when it came out in October, but I had to wait until I finished my 31 Days of Horror. I've kind of binged it over like a week. In my opinion, I think it's so much better than the first series. I really like where the characters went. I didn't really like Eleven in this series though. I thought she was so much cooler when she was a little bit more mysterious. They still just give her a couple of words to say, but you don't really get to know her, and I felt like this was the best opportunity to get to know more about her, but instead you got to know more about her past, which was interesting. But I did like where they took the other characters. I thought that they did such a good job. It was a little bit predictable what was gonna happen with a lot of the characters, but it was still sweet, and it's got that kind of, it's got what's working for it is it's like, you know, that 80s retro, you know, inspired feel, and sometimes that is predictable, so I don't really mind. I will say that that episode that everyone talks about where 11 branches off to go, you know what I mean, without giving anything away. I wasn't really a fan of it. I felt like it was just trying to put a different part of the 80s that we all knew into it, and I just didn't like the look, you know. But overall, I definitely preferred the season to the last, which is so crazy. It was just more of what I needed from the characters, which was cool, which means I'm more excited for season 3 now. The next TV show that I watched was Alias Grace, and this is on Netflix. This is a Netflix original, I believe. It is by the same writer who did Handmaid's Tale, which obviously you guys know I am obsessed with. I think that that is one of the best series of all year, but this one not so much. I was recommended this one because a lot of people said if you like Handmaid's Tale, you'll love this, but I didn't. It was kind of mishmashed. Like at the start, I wasn't really into it, but I was like, I'll give it the 3-episode chance. It is a 6-part. So I got into maybe the 3rd or like the end of the 2nd, and I started getting really into it. But then the story kind of changed again, and it just didn't work out for me. It is about an Irish girl who moves to Canada to work. She's from a really rough background, and she kills her employers, and she's kind of put on trial, and you're trying to figure out whether she did it, who she really is, and she's telling the story to a psychologist who's trying to, you know, clear her name. It is a very strange TV show, but the thing that really didn't work for me was the payoff. It wasn't there at all. But I've heard a lot of people really love it, so it may be just me, so maybe check it out. I don't know. I don't give it the spooky tick. And the last TV show I watched, I binged in the last 3 days, which was when I was moving, so when I was unpacking boxes, when I was doing this to my finger. I watched Wentworth season 5, and I almost died. It is so fucking good. If you guys have been around for a while, you know how much I love this TV show. It's an Australian TV show that is based in a female prison. It's actually based off Prisoner, which is a Australian TV show from like the 80s, 70s, 80s. But it is amazing. It's got the same kind of characters that entwine and storylines that are just like, they just keep you on your toes, and people will get killed, and it's brutal. Every episode is so brutal, and it's done so well. The acting is superb. It is by far my favorite Australian TV show ever. One of my favorite TV shows ever. I watched season 5. I almost died. Such a good payoff. Please watch it. If you haven't watched Wentworth yet, you guys, you're missing out, seriously. And that's pretty much it for the month. I do want to mention I did what I did for Halloween, to celebrate Halloween video. A lot of you guys may not have seen that, but it is pretty cool. I did like going to Singapore, going to like a horror night camp out here, and it's all live footage. So if you guys do want to check that out, I will link it. You do want to check it out, trust me. But other than that, for my mission of today, because this is such a heavily TV show based video, I want to ask you guys, what is your favorite TV show at the moment, binge worthy, that everyone should watch? If you saw how passionate I got about Wentworth and Big Little Lies, tell me what's your one that you think I should watch, because I'd love to check it out. And I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope you found this helpful. I'm sorry there wasn't a lot of movies. Hopefully next month there will be. I'll talk to you guys very soon. Stay spooky. Bye.